So once again, welcome to you all. Thanks, Koenraad. My name is Steven Kuiper. I'm sales manager. Later on, I will tell something more about me and the career. I would like to show you a nice picture. It's in Peru. It's of course with the potatoes. That's our product. And I would like to show it because first of all, it's a very nice picture. And secondly, that's a history where our products come. Our daily potatoes are all being bred and all being crossed with a native of Peru. So some kind of respect and a very nice picture. So what I'm going to do, firstly going to show you the company movie of HZPC because the younger generation is really more kind of visual. So I thought that would be more interesting to you than I'm just going to tell you some lame presentation about all the facts. I'm just going to tell it in a nice movie we have especially designed for that. Afterwards, I'm going to tell you a short introduction about international human resource management, just short, because else I would leave everything out for Koenraad. And after that, I'm going to tell a little bit about me and how I ended up here and what's my experience till so far. So first, I'm going to show you the company movie. So I have to go all the way to the back. Sorry, guys. Video. Yeah. Is it done?
Potatoes are common in our lives and in our society. After maize, rice and wheat, potatoes are the most important food product in the world. We at HZPC set the tone in the world of the potato. Nothing is as unpredictable as the weather. The possibilities for cultivating potatoes are determined by the choice of variety, the condition of the soil and the climate. That's why our activities, which all focus on this healthy natural product, are so fascinating and so special. Large areas in the world suffer from a shortage of fresh water. The potato can play a positive role in areas with a water shortage. Compared with other major crops, the potato produces significantly more nutrients per unit of water. The over 6 billion citizens of this world must have sufficient food, both now and in the future. The potato is considered as one of the answers to the increasing demand for food. It's our ambition to increase the total potato yield with our varieties. There are still striking differences in the yield per hectare. In Russia or China, for example, the average yield is barely 15 tons per hectare, whilst in Western Europe, more than 45 tons per hectare are harvested. This enormous difference is mainly caused by the lack of high-quality planting material and the absence of specialized knowledge as well as poor mechanization. We can increase the yield per hectare tremendously by supplying quality seed of those varieties that contain exceptional characteristics and by combining this with improved specialist advice. Our seed is mainly grown in the Netherlands. In addition, we grow seed potatoes in various other countries, which are mainly destined for the local markets there. Finally, our partners throughout the world have been licensed to grow our varieties. We sell our own seed production to over 70 countries. The biggest markets are Europe, Northern Africa and the Middle East. The over 900 affiliated HZPC farmers grow approximately 17,000 hectares of seed potatoes. This is seed that meets our very high quality standard. Professional field staff, together with our expert growers, monitor the entire process from planting to delivery. From the logistics perspective, every year is a new challenge. Can the customer's expectations be met, and are we able to deliver small and large quantities on the right time and with the right quality? We require our service providers, both at home and abroad, to maintain very high standards in the areas of storage, transshipment and transport. A final inspection is carried out before the potatoes are loaded. Our Research and Development Knowledge Centre knows the wishes and needs of our customers and uses this knowledge to develop new varieties. Scientific work never stops. Innovations of today will be in common practice in the near future. Our knowledge of potatoes is continuously on the increase. Next to the classic way of breeding, we also have specialists in the domains of plant biology, plant diseases, substantive quality, and molecular biology. Our scientists are increasingly learning about the genetics of the potato. With this knowledge, we are able to develop varieties that, because of their distinctive characteristics, grow and sell well. In addition to our very advanced laboratories and greenhouses, we have the use of over 30 trial fields with 10 different climate zones. Every year, our varieties are tested here in varying growing conditions for yield and for the specific characteristics of each market. We also use our research and development knowledge as a basis for innovative marketing concepts such as sunlight and pommande. Our buyers are active in 5 different sectors. The traditional sector, where potatoes are sold at the daily market. The retail fresh sector, where potatoes are sold in the supermarket, and the processing sectors for peeled potatoes, crisps and French fries. In many parts of the world, potatoes are sold at the daily markets. The customers in this sector require varieties with certain yields and drought resistance. The harvested potatoes must be robust and must store well. The quality of our seed is our guarantee that harvests will be a success. A significant added value is that we can offer the support of local technical staff with regard to cultivation techniques and improve specialist advice. The traditional sector is familiar with the different cultures of our customers. You can find us in every country that has a major supermarket chain. Our staff in the retail fresh sector know the interests of the supermarkets, know how consumers think, and know how the packaging industry should respond to that. This knowledge is based on our own worldwide consumer research. For example, we have established that the modern consumer goes for health, taste, and convenience. One of the marketing concepts that we have developed is sunlight. This concept fulfills the demand of a potato with fewer calories. What is more, our pommande concept is unique in the world. It is the answer to how the consumer experiences taste. Specific varieties, carefully grown for consumption, offer the consumer a choice between 4 different taste segments. Sampling and testing guarantee a consistent supply. The retail fresh sector offers a potato for every customer. The modern consumer wants everything to go faster and more easily, also where food is concerned. The market for peeled potatoes in Europe is increasing rapidly, whereby food services and retail play an important role. With innovative varieties, and together with the serious players in this sector, we want to develop new possibilities. What we need for that is an easy-to-peel, yellow-fleshed potato with a stable dry matter content that does not discolour after boiling. Our successful keeps its colour concept provides an obvious solution. Snacking has always been part of the Western culture. Many consumers love eating crisps. In countries with a rising standard of living, such as Russia and China, and those in the Middle East and Latin America, we see an increasing demand for different products. We are the partner to big, professional players. Our varieties are increasingly offering the consumer new possibilities for enjoying an enormous variety of crisps. The sector Crisps underwrites delicious crispy crisps. French fries are a feast. Our staff advise our buyers within the French fries sector worldwide on which varieties are the most effective for this particular food technology and agronomy. We have varieties that meet with market trends and achieve a high yield in processing. French fries in the supermarket freezers, served at quick service restaurants, used by the food service industry, or prepared in the oven by the consumers themselves. They all need to satisfy the specific characteristics required. The sector French fries anticipates future developments. With over 10 business locations worldwide, we are a supplier of seed potatoes to the various sectors. We want to continue improving the availability of new, specific varieties. We want to be a global partner that listens to its customers and guides them. We want to do our bit towards responsible food for a growing population. We are HZPC.
Well, I hope you didn't all fall asleep, but according to my opinion, it's always a nice movie which displays our company in a good way, because I cannot tell it in a presentation because it has all the aspects in a nice movie. So that's in short what's HZPC. Let's see if it still works. And now I'm going to tell you a little bit about international human resource managers, but not too long, because Koenraad, he's the HR manager, and he will tell you more in detail. But as I'll explain later, I've also been part at HR here, and now in sales, but I'm going to tell you just an introduction on international human resource management. Like you also have seen in the movie, the world population is growing, everywhere. Population is growing, especially India, China, these countries. We have only a limited amount of agricultural land, and also our water conditions are being less and the climate is heating. So that means that there's a huge challenge for us as people in the world. And we as HZPC have our mission that we want to develop responsible food for a growing world population. So that means that now at this moment 8% of the total world population is eating from our potatoes, and that means that it's also on license contracts, but basically it's all from our potatoes, so that is in my opinion quite unique. And in 2020 we want to have that to 9%, so that's quite a significant increase. So we as a company need to grow with that, and we need to interact with that, and that's why it's our mission. Well, HZPC, we're working with 275 people here globally and about 100 unique function profiles. So you can imagine what that means for HR. So they have to design all unique function profiles for managers, appraisal interviews. It all brings different kind of aspects, which takes a different approach for HR, especially international scene. Which departments? Well, sales and marketing, like I am now. Research and development, also mentioned in the movie. All specific kinds of areas. To me, I know basically what they're doing, but not in detail. For me, it's only important that they deliver or they design new products which fit into our market, and that's basically our main importance. But we invest a lot of money into R&D because that's the fundament, that's the basic of our company. If we don't develop new varieties for the future, which fit in less water supply, or they can resist drought or salt resistance, we don't develop, we're gone. That's simple. Production, advice here for our local growers. Well, of course, logistics, planning, finance control, ICT, facility management, and HR. So basically all the different functions you will expect from a big company. Well, if we look to the diversity, well, of course, we have HZPC Holland, subsidiaries, R&D, and subsidiaries in Netherlands, like our logistic handling. And what's quite interesting, that it's quite a masculine company. So that means that there's quite more guys than there are women here. But I think we're growing steadily more, that more women are also coming in. Maybe that has to do with the traditional of potato growing, that it's more or less a little bit man's job, that the agricultural part, but it's changing. So that's also good to see. Well, diversity, I talk about influx, 5%, and the outflux is 2%, so that means that we're still growing. More people are coming in than going out. Influx, that everyone knows what that means, so people getting in, we're higher. Outflux, people leaving the company. So here's some facts. So 30% is younger than 30, and 65 is younger than 40, and 75% has bachelor or master. So we're focusing on high potential, higher educated people being part of HZPC, also for development. Like mentioned here again, 30-70. So if you talk about the development of culture and international aspects within HZPC, we have different phases. And phase 1 starts that we export to many different countries from 1900, when the companies was established. From thereof, they start looking for export possibilities. After that, 1995, we were looking for new branches, new subsidiaries, daughter companies who take care of the business locally. Well, after that, we're intensifying collaboration between the branch, not only sales, but also different function integration. It's more internally oriented. Phase 4, we include the intercultural HZPC employees. So yeah, like we have Yifu, you're here also. You know, it's international. More and more people from outside Netherlands are joining us. So everything is becoming more intercultural. And phase 5 means decentralizing corporate roles. So more or less, what can we do as HR, as international aspect, to support them as well, and all different kind of company aspects. If we look to the transfer, so internal turnover, from function A to B, we have some data. 14% within the companies over the 5 last years, people went from function A to B. R&D is the highest figure, so there's a lot of turnover there for people. So that means also they have possibilities to grow and to get further within their function. And that's nice to see that if you have the natural growing phase of personal development, and a continuous learning phase that it's still growing. So there are possibilities for yourself as a person to develop, but also for the company. That means that we have a natural growing phase to develop further gradually. So with the current way of working, there are possibilities to grow, and we have the right people, and the people have the possibilities to grow. 38% shorter than 5 years in current position. So that's quite a high figure. So, well, what's my role within HZPC? Why did I end up here, for God's sake, in Jouwer? No, just kidding. I live really close here. But I want to tell you something about me, because I think maybe that's more interesting to you as well. What do you do after you finish your school, and what's your route, and how do you end up somewhere? Well, like you, I also studied at Stenden University, and I also took the minor International Human Resource Management, I think 2 years ago. I don't know which company we visited, Jane, anymore, so sorry for that. So, I was hired as an intern at the HR department, did my thesis here, and from there off, well, I made a step towards training a sales manager. And that might be weird, but if you're studying human resource management, why would you want to go to sales? Yeah, that's maybe a question which for some of you will arise. Well, first of all, I always like commercial aspects, and I also loved human resource very much, but at that time there was no job profile here, and I was just thinking, do I want to be on HR for the rest of my life, or what do I really like? And I thought I liked the aspect of talking with people, being in a relation with people, and having the customer relation management. That's something I really liked. So then there was a function here for trainee in sales, and I thought, well, let's give it a try. Maybe this is something for me. And from there off, I rolled on, and now I'm a sales manager for the sector traditional, which was mentioned in the movie as well. So that means more on the fresh market product. So, but you know, it shows that it doesn't really mean that if you follow some kind of specific education that you always should end up in that. It's just the broad aspect, and it's a business administration bachelor, so you can basically end up all different kind of sectors and functions. Well, where am I working now? So that's mainly Eastern Europe, the Baltic states, Belarusia will come next year as my colleague will retire, Bosnia, Croatia, Hungary, Slovenia, so this part. Croatia has also some nice coast parts. That's also some profit you get from your work. You can see sometimes the nice things as well. Well, here's Georgia and Armenia, and Moldova will also come. So it's basically Eastern Europe countries. Are there any people from Eastern Europe here? Bulgaria, did I see one from Bulgaria? Yeah. From also Bulgaria as well? Okay, so only Bulgaria. It's my colleague responsibility, so I don't know. It's more it's not Russian. It's more Russian language over there. A little bit more towards.
Similar.
Yeah. Okay. Because they're all different kind of languages still in the Balkan. So, but sometimes if you say Dobar dan, then mostly they understand what you mean. But it's quite funny. So, what do I do now? Well, most important that I maintain the current relations abroad. So, working with my distributors, agents, having good cooperation, and make sure to intensify those relations, and that our products are available and present at those markets in Eastern Europe. So that's what I have to take care about mainly. Well, like I mentioned before, our varieties are important, that they're present in the market, and that we develop newer varieties which will fit into the market and the demands and the wishes of the farmers and the local country specific. So I'm in the sector traditional, but it doesn't mean that only my customers serve to the local market. There are also a lot of countries which are in transitional phase towards more retail market, so they also produce for supermarkets. So you have to do both. It's not like you're here, no, you have to have the whole package. And of course, there are a lot of different tasks, but most important always for my boss to collect the money. Because if we don't get the money, then we don't exist. So it is important. That
responsibility for Stenden money-wise?
money-wise. I have to monitor the payments, of course, if they pay on time, and if not, why don't they pay, and make sure.
How much?
Oh, I think about 10 million or something. So it's quite something to start with. Yeah. Oh yeah, and this is also what I mean. What you have to do, you have to also be present in the field where you introduce new varieties, where the local farmers are. So be there, show your interest in them, and talk with them. And that's the way to know what's driving them and what are their needs. So that's really important, to be there and to contact with your local agents and customers. Well, beside that, we also have a lot of projects within HZPC, and I think how I see is that the daily business, what I do, selling the products, is for the continuity of HZPC. So we need to do that all to make sure HZPC will exist longer and steadily will grow. But beside that, we also have the projects, and projects are really important because we need to develop further and we want to go develop more rapid. So we need to do that together, and that's a nice way to do projects. It will benefit from all different kinds of aspects. So you can transfer knowledge with your colleagues, like you also transfer the knowledge as you do in a group. Make sure HZPC can grow further and be more effective internally as externally. So that means, how are we organizing things today, and how should we do that towards the future? How can we serve the customer better? How are we doing now? What's our image now, and how do we want it to be in future? So it's always have to ask yourself, are we on the right path in the countries or as an organization total? And projects are a really good way to cooperate and to be broadly in the company. Well, some examples I'm doing now: e-selling, investigating what are possibilities. We're mainly business to business. So how should you then do e-selling? Online portal for customers, continue to improve customer distribution relations, and of course we also have the young HZPC. I don't know, will anyone tell something more about that? Okay, then I will leave it here. So, what was important to my personal career? Well, I mentioned talent, ambition, and knowing what to sacrifice. So those are, if you look at your own career, those are three most important aspects in my opinion, because of course you all have the talent, else you wouldn't be here. You have enough brains, you can study, and you follow a bachelor education. You all have ambition, maybe one more than the other. You know, maybe someone wants to be a president of a country, I don't know. That's all different kind of ambition, and knowing what to sacrifice. And I think there are a lot of international students here, so you already make a sacrifice to be here. You leave your family behind, your local environment, so you already make a sacrifice. And those three things together, and knowing where you want to be, what your drive is you. And that's the ambition, and the aptitude, you can translate it as the talent, and the engagement, what are your sacrifice. So I think these are the three main aspects for your own career and for what do you want to be. So, my advice or challenge to you is, what's your willingness for your own career if you look towards those three aspects? Where do you want to be? And I think experience, self-motivation, and being proactive are keywords in that. Having long-term goals and know where to go is really important. Just set a point on the horizon for 10 years, say I want to be there, and what will it take if I look at those three aspects? Which goals can I formulate that, and what do I need? Am I still on the right path? And knowing that and having that in mind, you can always grow further. And sometimes you have to take a step back or switch a lane, but it's always good to have a long-term vision. And what might be useful for you, if I look at international human resources, for example, when I go abroad, maybe you know Geert Hofstede's cultural dimensions, I just check on the internet and just read them just quickly and see, oh yeah, these are the cultural aspects, and then I go to countries and say, can I see really what they mean with that? Yeah, mostly I see as just being prepared and respect people, that's important. The CIA fact book, maybe some of you knows it. When I go traveling, I always check it, just some political information, general information, It's always a good topic to talk with your agent and distributors. So, for example, what happened in the past, in the history, and what has to do with the GDP, how many debts do they have. It's always good to know that, and you have some information to talk about with people as well. And if you look at ambition, talent, and knowing what to sacrifice and what's your willingness, you know the book of Stephen Covey. It's the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I think that's really nice to read as well if you have some free time. It really helps you with those 3 key things. So, because you are the key for the success of your own career. You really are. So, are there any questions to me? Please ask.